Hello and welcome to ABW Radio. How are we all? What's news? Today we played Southampton. I hate Southampton. In the chat box, we've got first in the chat box today, J Rob. That was messy. You're right, mate. And 235100 is there. Timmy Toby AN. Dromiga, Carlito Alguna, David Lancaster, Leo Caroon, What am I missing? Pat Brady's there. I tell you what, I think I've screwed this already, guys. What a start, huh? What a start. A bit like the game. Corey Searless is there, Matthew Stearns there, Junior Gunners there. Well, yeah. Bit of a game, guys. Bit of a game. Today, I'm joined by Colonial Cannon. It's Jason Schrader. Say hello, Shreds.
Hey, everybody. How are y'all? Hanging on by a thread here. Haven't celebrated a goal against Southampton like I did that third one in a very long time. That's for sure.
I know. It was quite good. David Keith, Javier Morales, Chris Lodato, Three the Beastie. They're in the chat box as well. I tell you what, it's going to be exciting today. There's quite a bit to talk about, isn't there? K-Man 1867 has just joined us. We're also joined by John Welsh. Say hello, John.
You all right, Jace? How you doing, mate?
Southampton going down. I'm going to love it, mate.
I'm
Shane Long.
I'm mixed feelings because I'm good friends with Ross, who I'm sure some people in the chat box know, who's a big Saints fan. So I was talking to him the whole way through that game. Yeah. So I feel for him as a Southampton fan, but as for the team and some of the players, yeah, good riddance.
Do you know, I'm sure I've done a podcast with Ross, a really nice guy, but fuck him.
He knows that comes from a place of love, Jace. It's fine.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Oscar Arias is in there as well. Hi, Oscar. You're right. Okay, let's get down to it. First of all, before kickoff, we had a tribute to Ray Wilkins. You can see Eddie Nitzvicki, Southampton coach, alongside Mark Hughes, visibly upset. You know, I think it says it all about Ray Wilkins. There's so many people have been so upset by his passing. You know, I mean, way too young for anybody to pass away. And I thought, to be fair, the ground, it was a fantastic tribute. You know, the round of applause for Ray Wilkins was superb. The players, everybody bought into it. And, you know, just thoughts of his family and friends, because it's just way too young to lose somebody like that. And, you know, he's a guy who played for some top clubs, AC Milan, Man United, Chelsea, you know, PSG, he did it all. So, you know, sad days, guys. Guna's in the USA, Unique 79. It's going to be quite interesting today, isn't it? It's going to be quite interesting. Guna Mort's there. Oh, Schadenfreude at 99, who is Ross. He just said, love you too, Chase. Ross, I feel for you, but I don't feel for Shane Long. I hate Shane Long so much. I'm sorry, mate. But, you know, you're top man, Ross. Right, John, I'm going to you for lineups first. Obviously, there's somebody been calling out for to be included in the team, and he was today. Go on, talk me through it.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised with the lineup. Obviously, we're going to have rotation because of the Europa League, Ozil and Ramsey and that being rested. All makes sense. But the big thing I was really pleased with is that Reece Nelson finally got his debut, starting the game. We'll talk about his performance on the day, obviously, in a little bit, but really pleased to see him play. He got to play in his more favoured position as well, not playing as a wing-back as we'd seen him earlier in the season. Iwobi coming in as well and getting to play centrally, which I thought definitely helped him today as well. Again, started a little bit slow, I think, like Nelson did, but grew into the game. And I think it was, you know, sensible lineup, to be honest. I don't think there was anything really that Arsene could have done any different. I thought taking Jack out of the lineup made sense as well because, let's be honest, he hasn't played great lately. And to me, he's also looked pretty tired. So I thought maybe a rest might do him well. But we'll obviously get on to Jack when he came on and his little performance, little cameo. But yeah, I was happy with the lineup. And at the moment, it is just try and keep things ticking along in the league, as we said before. Get wins if we can, just keep the momentum going, and obviously all eyes on Thursday night at Moscow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's summed up pretty well. You know, I mean, I think Jack needed to be taken out. You know, he's way off the pace on Thursday night. And, you know, after you've had so many injuries over so many years, it's right to sort of, you know, you can't just come in and play 30 games a season and expect it all to work, can you? Okay. In the chat box, Arul Selvan Jayabalan is in there. Marco Bricks UK, Marble Halls TV. Timmy Tobian, I'm sure I mentioned you. Gooners in the USA. Jeffrey O'Hara's there. The McManus is there. Personal favourite. He's a great follow on Instagram as well. Can be found under Pedalo McManus. Cactus Jack 81 is there as well. Jace, game kicked off. We got lots of possession. There's no press from Southampton. They're leaving us have the ball. They're trusting their defensive formations, and they start to counter us. And they had a couple of quick chances, and they were using Long's pace a lot. Meanwhile, we weren't doing much with our possession. You know, were you getting frustrated in the initial 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were to go back to a 2012 reference. We were back past Ramseying the entire first 15 minutes there. I mean, I don't think Elneny played a ball forward until about the 25th minute, which was really disheartening to see because, you know, as much as everybody sort of liked the lineup, my biggest fear was where's the creativity going to come from? Yeah, we've got some creative type players in there, but we haven't really seen them deliver too much this year. And I thought that put a lot of pressure on Xhaka early to try to do a lot. But yeah, we all knew that they were going to counter. Obviously, that's Shane Long's game, and if it wasn't for a Bellerin clearance just in front of the line there, that they would have gone up really early. So it was really, really disappointing to see that we just looked really scared the first 20, 25 minutes. That's with the ball and without the ball. Nobody really wanted to make a run forward. Everybody was sort of doing that typical Arsenal thing where we just stand outside the box and pass it sideways and backwards, and allow them to just sort of sit in their zone and absorb us. So it was really unfortunate, but luckily we were able to finally sort of break through there. And but yeah, the first, I'd say 20 minutes was just it was really frustrating to watch, and I knew it was going to be a really tough day. Once nobody was getting into even Aubameyang wasn't getting into the box, which was really disappointing at first. But yeah, it was, you know, a couple of kids in there coming in for the first time, and they're going to be a little timid. They're not going to want to make those mistakes, so it's understandable.
Yeah. It was so frustrating. Nobody was getting beyond the ball. There were no runners. Southampton were just sat deep, and you know, we lacked invention. We lacked any sort of creativity there. We've got in the box. We've got who was it? Oh, I do apologize. Bugger! It flies past so quickly. I do want to mention somebody. Kiladi Khaled, mate, he's going to get some grief today. He does get grief off us, trust me. Loki73 is there as well. Loki73 always gets a shout out. John, our issue with runners is consistent. Too many people want the ball to feet way too often. And when you've got 3 or 4 players in that horseshoe, nobody looking to make the run, everybody looking for the ball to feet, what message does that send out to the defence? Because if I'm a defender against the Arsenal, I'm just thinking, I don't need to get too tight. I just need to stop you turning and giving a through ball. You know, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, we are at times when we sort of revert back to that everything into feet and, you know, receiving the ball all in front of their 18-yard box. Everything's played in front of the defence. We don't turn defenders enough. We all know how much I like Aaron Ramsey, but one of the reasons I like him so much is because he does run beyond, and he's makes those third man runs which drags a defender or a midfielder out of position. The difference with our midfield today is that because you've got Xhaka, who obviously will sit deep anyway, El Neni, who's just kind of the link man. Iwobi, I guess, would be the one you would hope to make those runs. And I think, he did some, I think he was sort of very hit and miss today. He did some really, really good things, but he did some very bad things as well. But the problem is when you see him for Nigeria, he's very much a number 10. He wants to get the ball into his feet and then make something happen. He's not necessarily the guy getting on the end of things. So in that case, you have to get a bit more from your wide men. And Reece Nelson starting in the game, I thought was a little bit too timid. Like like Shred said there, he wasn't as committed as we've seen him in previous games as trying to go past people and make the run beyond. Welbeck did it a couple of times from wide, which is helpful. And then you give an option to, say, Mustafi or Xhaka to hit those long balls and try and stretch the defence. But we don't have enough of that in the team. And I just think we started very quiet today. Bellerin and Kolasinac as well, they've got to provide that width and something to run in behind. And again, for the first 20 odd minutes, they just weren't really doing that. But you've also got to give some credit to Southampton. It's very difficult when they've got so many players back to find the space. So you have to try and use some width. But when you've got Welbeck and Nelson who naturally want to run inside towards goal, it's harder to do that. You then rely on Bellerin and Kolasinac to try and get to the byline to try and stretch the defenders.
Yeah, it's easy for them to block those lanes off, isn't it? That's all they have to do. Put a couple of bodies inside, and all of a sudden those lanes are blocked off, and it's very difficult. But we didn't get anybody overlapping today, which is really frustrating. Path Sane's in the box. Stan the Man 450. Who went to the shout out? Dromiga, you get your shout out. You get two now. Matthew Stearns there as well. Gypsy Chavi's there as well. Jesus. I don't know what he was saying. Why have you blocked him, mate?
Oh, I haven't blocked him. I just gave him a little timeout. Just have a little think about what you said. It's fine. You'll learn.
Okay. Have a think about it, Gypsy Chavi. Have a think. You will get blocked. We do love a good blocking. And CL 1082 is there as well.
Can I just say, Jason, before we carry on with the game, obviously it's great, all the people in the chat box. Thank you so much for always interacting with us. But also a big shout out to everyone who listens, because I know some people can't make it live to the show.
Yeah.
We always get some great tweets from people and messages and stuff, whether it's in the YouTube comment section or on Twitter and everything else. So thank you to everyone else who can't always make it to show live and listens back later on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's the support we've had superb. Adrian Lau from Hong Kong's there, and Seth Okaya's there. Right, okay. Let's back to the game. Enough of the shout-outs for now. We've got counter-attack. Iwobi's made a really good run, and he gives the ball away, and all of a sudden we're getting countered to get on our counter, and Shane Long gets to the end of a goal. And at this point, that's all I've got in my notes is effing pathetic from Mustafi and Cech. What a pair of tits. Jace, talk me through it.
Yeah, I actually gave up a similar goal a couple weeks ago playing some pickup soccer at work. And I got just absolutely bollocksed for it by my coworkers. So to do the same thing at the professional level and just sit there and it's not even that he didn't pick the runner up. He seemed completely oblivious that there was a runner coming towards his shoulder at all. And Cech's got to do a little bit better communicating there, but Mustafi, it just completely shut off. Just completely shut off, like a psych ward patient in a padded room. Just nothing going on between the ears there, and we paid for it. And it was that see you next Tuesday Shane Long, who just happened to be there again, and the guy's got something that he loves the water. Whatever's in the water in and around the Emirates that he drinks, and whenever he plays us, it works for him, because the guy just continues to tear us apart, and we just never seem to take him seriously. In every single game, he just does this. But just and I was trying not to be too reactionary, but I was just like, can we just take Mustafi off and put Holding in just right now? That was my initial thought. It was that calamitous, that bad, that sort of schoolboy. I'm sure the Pirates that Chris Carpenter coaches ship 10 goals a game, and I'm sure that their defense is better than what Mustafi just did right there. It was that awful. And we're going to continue to make those mistakes because we don't coach defense.
Yeah, this is my problem. I love Mustafi. I think he can put in some towering performances, but I can't remember who we were playing where he tries to buy a free kick and, and goes over easily and, doesn't get the free kick, looks like a twonk. This was just ridiculous. Both him and Czech, I felt, and I always try to defend the goalkeeper, but that was ridiculous. John, what were your thoughts on it? I mean, when you've got somebody of the player of Shane Long's pace and his speed of thought, he's always at it. You've got to be concentrate harder.
Yeah, I mean, the whole goal was just terrible defending all round. The build-up play, losing possession the way we did. Kolasinac doesn't stop the cross, despite the fact, he gets, 2-3 attempts at getting the ball off the guy and lets in a cross from the byline. That cross should never come in the first place. And Mustafi I get what you're saying about Czech. He makes one step forward and then realises it's curling, away from goal and he can't go for it, which is the right decision. He can't. But he looks like he's committed. So maybe that's why Mustafi doesn't do it. But he's not even aware, that Shane Long's there. So does he not get a shout or is he just not paying attention? It's so frustrating. I go back to the Moscow game last week. Obviously, it was all great and everything. We scored all those lovely goals. But Mustafi and that was all over the place as well. And I was talking to Josh and we were saying, about people who are the complete embodiment of Arsenal as a football club at the moment. And Mustafi is in terms of performances because he can go from the sublime to the absolute comical within the space of a minute. He looks amazing, but then does a clearance and decides to clear it instead of up the pitch across his own 18-yard box or straight up in the air and stuff like that. And his brain just switches off. It's really frustrating. And I think, when you watch his performances and you watch him out throughout the season and the number of mistakes or strange decisions he makes, you kind of understand why the club considered selling him so quickly before, But that whole goal was just dreadful.
But my counterpoint to that is Mustafi makes no more mistakes than Laurent Koscielny. Laurent Koscielny gets given a pass on some of the worst defending I've ever seen.
Oh, I wouldn't take anything away from that either. No, I think Koscielny is a player who, again, can have very good performances, just like Mustafi, but also make some really bad decisions. I don't think he's as rash now as he used to be. I think Mustafi's still got that rashness in him, which is exciting as a fan watching it because when it comes off and he's aggressive in the tackle and tries to get in front of a striker, it's fine. But when his brain just isn't paying any attention, like today, it was really bad. And I thought it was kind of funny that Callum Chambers, who is a player who's got some stick from Arsenal fans, especially this season, I thought really showed up Mustafi and looked like he looked the senior pro. To be fair with his performances, he never really struggled. I think he gave the ball away once maybe, and that was it. But other than that, he was really solid, didn't make stupid tackles, and also didn't try and play the ball out from the back too much. At times he was just clearing it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice sometimes to think, maybe, Shrogdan, you should be looking at young Callum there and learning a few things from him, other way around. It's funny because when you look at both Koscielny and Mustafi, they can put in towering performances one week and the next week, oh my God. I still look back at that PSG game and wonder, when you've got your captain not even in the picture on a counter-attack in the opening minutes of the game, you're just wondering what's going on. John, I'm going to stick with you and then come back to Shreds because we've got another goal to talk about, the Aubameyang goal. We replied very quickly. It's a big wake-up call. And there was some lovely interplay between Welbeck, Iwobi, and a fantastic finish. Go.
Yeah, again, we responded really quickly. We didn't let our heads drop. You saw there was, some arguing between Mustafi and Czech after the goal, but team responded instantly. We put real pressure on. We created a few chances, nothing too clear-cut. But the build-up, I think it was Aubameyang got it deep. and started the move off himself. Played it into Iwobi, and Iwobi, the sort of round the corner with the outside of the boot pass into Welbeck first time was absolutely brilliant. And that's when you see that from Iwobi, that's when you get excited about him, because he has got that about him. He's got that ability, and really good awareness as well from Welbeck. Know that Aubameyang's making that run, lovely little flick in just to take a bit of pace off the ball. And Aubameyang just does the right thing. Doesn't need to take a touch. He knows he's just got to time it perfectly. Wait for the defender in the goal to come in, and just that little stab. He doesn't get a lot on it. He just gets enough. He knows all he's got to do is just put a little bit more spin on it and a little bit direction, and it's going in. And a really good poacher's finish. And it's the kind of move he likes. He will. When you watched him for Dortmund, he would sometimes be involved in the build-up, but as long as he was on the end of it and it was all very quick, you only need to give him, a yard. He just gets in there just before the defender, just enough time, and just get a little poke on it. But the ball from Iwobi and Welbeck was really, really nice. And I was pleased for Iwobi as well, because he was struggling at the start of the game, and he has been most of the season. But I think when we went a goal down, his performance really improved, and he seemed to start to enjoy playing in the middle, picking the ball up and trying to make things happen.
Yeah, he started making runs as well. I thought, it will be very poor first 20 and then flourished. Second half was a little bit of a different story because as a team we dropped off. But it was lovely to see him run, making runs into space after that. Jace, we're going to stick with your Aubameyang goal. For all the lovely interplay, the one thing that does surprise me, and as much as I saw Aubameyang, I didn't watch him that often at Dortmund, but I'm surprised by how good his touch is at times. He's got a beautiful pair of feet when he takes the ball on well, and he starts this move and finishes it. He showed a really cool head in that finish.
No, he did, and it's absolutely wonderful. I think, I watch a little bit of German football. John obviously watches a lot more than I do, but I think we'll sort of both attest that with the way the German game is, when you're pressed as much as they press you in Germany, you have to develop a good first touch. You have to develop those soft feet. You can get away with a crap touch in the Premier League and in some other leagues in the world, but you're gonna get punished in Germany if you do that. So you've got to develop it. And playing for a team like Dortmund, he definitely did. A lot of great sort of technical players coming from there and still at that club, obviously. But it was wonderful. He could have probably, if he really tried, could have put more on it, but he put just what he needed to on it. And I think, what we're seeing is finally the striker that we've all been crying out for. And we're starting to play to his strengths, and that's really good. And when you see a player like him come in, and the one thing I wish he would do is he tends to drift a little wide for me at times, and I wish he would be a little more central, especially when we have the personnel around him like we did today. Let him be the center point of that offense. I don't want to see him drifting wide. And then, no offense to Welbeck, but I obviously have a lot more faith in Aubameyang being centrally and receiving those balls to try to score with than Welbeck. Look, obviously Welbeck got 2 goals today, so I should just maybe shut my mouth on that. But it's really nice to have a guy who even with a half chance, he's probably going to put it in the back of the net or at least test the keeper. And I think that's something that we haven't had in a long time. And the technical ability that he's got is absolutely wonderful. And I wish, especially towards the end when we had that break with him, and I think he was just had 1 or 2 defenders there. I wish we really would have pushed up at that point. And I think it was Andrew from the podcast who tweeted out that such a shame that Iwobi was just sort of jogging back at that point, because he could have put a little sprint in there and maybe provided another outlet, and then maybe played a little flick back onto Aubameyang to get a goal. But really, really nice to just finally have that confidence in the player up front, and I think the fan base is also getting that confidence with Lacazette, who's also got a wonderful pair of feet on him as well. With his recent performances, and it's finally nice to not have to moan about a striker anymore, and we can put our attention on other players. But no, it's wonderful, absolutely having him, and I don't think he's actually getting enough credit throughout England right now for the performance he's putting in for us, because I think he's been one of the best strikers in the league since he came to us.
Well, he's already a most prolific player on debuts. You know, he's ahead of Ian Wright. Vermaelen had four goals in his first 6 games or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Was it Davor Suker was top, wasn't he?
Oh, no. Aubameyang's top now. Davor Suker was just underneath. Yeah. I gobsmacked. It was, you know, but yeah, I think Aubameyang's added quite a lot. He's very calm. He but his skill level and some of his runs are really interesting. It's exciting. John, we had a couple of chances. Then you know, we began to dominate the game, and then you had Chambers do Ronaldo. Wow! Wow!
Oh, fair play to the lad. He went for it. You know, it's oh no, sorry, I've just seen breaking news from Arsene Wenger. Mkhitaryan has medial knee ligament damage. He will not be available for Thursday or Newcastle, and certainly not the week after. Ooh, that's not good. Oh dear. But yeah, Callum Chambers.
It was better than Lukaku's attempt.
Yeah, that's true. It was better than Lukaku's. I mean, I like that he's got the confidence to go for it. Why not? You know, try it out. Look, no one's going to do a Ronaldo. That goal he scored against Juventus was absolutely ridiculous. I had to watch it about 10 times. I was like, that's not real. There's just no way you can get your body up that high, and like it's so far behind him. But yeah, why not go for it? You know, he's got a couple of goals for us, Callum. Nothing like that.
Yeah,
but he'll get on the end of one of them eventually. But fair play to him for having a go, mate.
I love the ambition. You know, I mean, whenever I watch football, people think I love Aaron Ramsey because of just the fact he's Welsh. No, the fact he's Welsh is a bonus. What I really love about him is the ambition he plays with. You know, when you play with ambition, when you're looking to create and score, and you know, you're doing everything you can to help the team in those situations. I just adore you. And when Chambers had a go at that, I just thought, good for you, son. You know, well done.
He weren't the only one, actually. Welbeck went for one as well later on, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you know what? First 20 minutes again, I thought we were poor as a team, but Welbeck looked. I thought, oh no, come on, Dan, you need a bit of a game. And funny enough, segues nicely into my next note is, oh, Danny Welbeck, you fucking beauty. Jace. I come to you and back to John on this. The Iwobi assist on Danny Welbeck, making his own luck and grabbing himself a goal to take us in the lead. What were your thoughts?
I was, you know, thinking back, and maybe it's just the fact that I'm already drinking and it's not noon. I really, nice. I don't remember. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Hello, it's me. I don't honestly remember too much of the goal. I just remember sort of the relief. Of just like sort of feeling like, look, we've grown into this match. We definitely deserve something here. Obviously, we don't ever want to see anybody like Shane Long do well against us, and he'd already got the goal. Just the overwhelming sense of relief of not only Iwobi getting the assist, but just Welbeck. Because I know people just we'll come across, I'm sure, the sitter that he missed. That Lacazette complained to him. We will. I'm sure we will. But like, it's just that sort of juxtaposition against himself. That it's the two. Who's going to show up, that guy or Welbs? And it's like they're two separate personas that live within him, and one can be absolutely magnificent, and one can be absolutely garbage. And so it was just such a sense of relief to have that goal go in. And I just, whatever Welbeck's, he's, you know, as much as we slayed him and everything, the guy has actually scored some really important goals for us. I think he's helped us beat United twice at Old Trafford now. And then today's goal to sort of just to give us a lead again, it's really important there. And the fact that he does miss those easy chances, he's always going to get the stick from us. And it was just a weight lifted off my shoulders there. And I'm really happy for him. Also, like you and we'll say it again. You know, Iwobi, not a great 20 minutes, but man, he played his heart out the other 70 minutes of the match, and well deserved on the assist, because I think when we see him simplify his game and not try to carry the ball too much and not try to do too much with it, that's the type of player he can be, is what we saw for the last part of that game, and really happy for him as well.
Yeah. I just thought you make your own luck in this game, and yeah, it did get Nick on the way through, but you know, with Welbeck's effort, etc., I was just chuffed to bits for him. John, your thoughts on the goal? Talk me through it.
Just again, really nice ball from Iwobi. We've seen he's got that in his locker. It's trying to get the consistency with him in those sort of deliveries, because when he does it, they're like weighted perfectly. It's you know, sometimes it's Ozil-esque, some of his passes. But then, you know, like you say, there's obviously the luck in the finish from Welbeck. But what's really impressive is the first touch. His first touch for the ball that comes into him is brilliant, because it just brings it away from the defender. Another little touch to knock it on, and then yeah, he just, what's the old phrase? If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the raffle, or whatever it is they say.
Yeah.
You know, so, and he has a go, but the first touch and the ball in from Iwobi is the really important part. And he gets his goal and it makes him luck. And Welbeck is, like Jay said, he's one of those hit and miss players. But you can never fault his work rate. He will always run. He will always try his hardest. And I think that's why, you know, not everyone, but a lot of people will give him a pass sometimes for like his first touch can't always be there. Sometimes his finishing isn't there. You know, his passing is not always the best as well. He is very hit and miss, but he will run all day for you. He will work back. He will cover his man behind him. He will put tackles in. He'll put his head in the way of anything. You know, he's got the athleticism that you'd want for a central midfielder, just without the, you know, technical ability. Otherwise, he'd make an amazing centre mid with the running he can do. You know. But yeah, no, I'm really pleased for him, because he's important, because, you know, like we said before, if Lacazette were to go down or pick up a booking and get banned for a Europa League game or anything like that, then Welbeck's obviously the next in line to come in. So you got to try and keep his confidence high and keep his fitness levels there, because he's the next in line to come in for Lacazette.
Yeah. Well, you know, that'll give him confidence today, to be fair, and he deserves that confidence. He worked hard, and yeah, he made his own luck. So first half kind of petered out, and we went into the second half. We had an Aubameyang chance chase. We had a great save from McCarthy from Xhaka, and then McCarthy made another great save from Iwobi. We started off very positively second half, didn't we?
Yeah, we absolutely did, and just again, we gotta stop putting that whatever's in the water that we give to opposing goalkeepers, because especially the Iwobi also had a shot there with the outside of the boot that he did really well to save. That was almost sort of, that was curling in. Xhaka's was curling out there. The chance at the near post against Aubameyang. But no, it was very bright. I think people were, you know, some people say that we fell off a little bit in the second half. Well, we definitely started it brightly, and it was just really unfortunate that we couldn't convert one of those. And you know, the guy's done enough at Southampton to sort of supplant Fraser Foster, and he showed today why. But we gotta stop whatever it is we put in the water in that dressing room. We gotta put a little arsenic or something in there. Maybe use whatever we used in the lasagna against Spurs to see if we can't get some better performances for us from opposing goalkeepers.
Absolutely. Let's give some shout outs then. Right, guys, we got 29 likes. Come on, take us over the 50. There's 140 of you watching at the moment. Come on. You know, it's Sunday. I should be in chapel, and I'm here. What's going on? We got Matthew Stern. Oh, what are you laughing at?
You're shagging the nuns.
Chapel, my boy.
The chapel in, the pub on the corner.
No comment. Nicky Wilson's in the box. We got Matthew Hudson, Rudy Rastlos is there, Vinay Sitamoni, Parth Sane, I'm sure you've had a shouted already. Tayo Adele, Carlito Alguna, Jeffrey O'Hara, I'm sure CeeLaw. Where the hell is CeeLaw FC? We had Reese 1237, Lazy Python. I haven't seen Lazy Python for a while. Nice to see him back. David Lancaster, Leo Caroon. Hello all, how are you? Oh, we're up to 44. Come on, 6 more. Can't do the boys a favour. Let's have it. My
the more you like us, the less likely Danny is to send naked pictures to everyone. So please, like us.
Hold up there. Marcus Hodges is there, and Stephen Barr is just put in the box. Big Daddy's here. Some brilliant people in this chat box. If you do listen afterwards and you ever want to join us live, honestly, the chat box is epic at times. I bet the boys have just pointed out what that gypsy fella said, and ooh, bit harsh that was. but then again, we've all said it now and again, haven't we? So my favourite part of the game, Shane Long scores from an offside position. His face when the flag went up. It was a thing of beauty. John, did you enjoy that?
Not at first, because I thought, oh God, that's like an amazing goal. Because I thought, Jesus Christ, how has he finished that? Because he took it really well.
Yeah.
But as soon as the flag went up, I was like, oh, thank fuck for yeah. No, that was good because he was really upset. He was really adamant. And then I thought, oh no, I'm going to see the replay, and he was onside, and there's going to be loads of complaints and everything afterward. I'll have to be trying like nice and put like, be all on the fence about it on the radio show. But luckily, he was like absolutely offside. Very good finish. Unlucky Shane. Tough luck, son.
Oh, pushing, you're going down. Oh,
see, as much as I hate Shane Long, he's the sort of player I'd love to have in our team, though, just to wind up defenders.
Coming off the bench, he causes havoc. He really does. To be fair to him, as a player, I just hate him. Because he always plays against us. So there you go. Tyrone Holders in the box, and Fadian Saya, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is about the Arsenal, mate. This is what we're about. We're all about the Arsenal. Unique 79's pushing the likes. He's a top man.
Ooh, that's harsh. The beastie, that's harsh. Oh.
You cheeky shit!
You got to read that out, Jason, because some people might be listening to this back and not reading the chat box.
The beastie has just said, Jason looks like if Craig Bellamy was about 40 years older.
I'm about 4 foot taller. I'm 4 stone heavier, to be fair, as well. Honestly, I was in a bar in town a few years ago, and Bellamy was there with Kieran Dyer. Okay, and he walked up to them, and honestly, it was like the wee men. Were the men in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
The Oompa Loompas. They look like 2 little Oompa Loompas. I thought, yeah, pair of twats who earn a hell of a lot more money than me. I can't believe it. We will get on to Andre Marina's performance, guys. There's a lot of people put in the chat box about Andre Marina. We are going to get onto that. Reece Nelson then came off for Jack. Yeah. Don't wait for it.
You want me to take this one?
Yeah, but I want you to talk about Nelson's performance, because I thought he started slowly, but really, really went into the game.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't this his first start in the Premier League as well? So he's probably going to be a little bit nervous. Yeah, he's going to be a little bit nervous. And he's a young player. It's going to take him some time to grow. He's just getting used to playing with the players around him. A lot of people were sort of, and I put this in the WhatsApp group, and I think got a little heat for it. But I thought, and this will come back to the Nelson thing, but I thought Bellerin was poor today. I thought even going forward, when he had the ball in decent positions, he wasn't trying to take men on. He wasn't trying to get across. And I think he only took one guy on, put a cross in, and they got instantly blocked. And then he just, I think, sort of gave up after that. Part of that, people say, was down to Reece Nelson sort of being in front of him. And I can understand that, but at the same time, you look at where Hector has been and who he's had in front of him, and the times he's still played well with worse people in front of him. And that's why, but I think he was hesitant because of Reece's sort of lack of experience. You could tell Reece, I think, sometimes drifted inside a little bit too much, leaving Hector exposed, so he didn't want to go too far forward. But I definitely agree with you, Jace, that he started off a little slow, which is to be expected from a young player like himself. And then he did grow into the game and had some wonderful, I think, link up play. He didn't do too bad tracking back either. I can remember a couple of times where he at least hassled and harried the defenders or the sort of the Southampton players when they were down his side. But it's really interesting. I was surprised when he was on the starting lineup. I sort of thought his time for us was over. I think he will leave in the summer. And I thought, if you're going to play a youngster, why not play Nketiah, who just signed a new contract with us, who we know is going to be with us for a little longer. But really happy to see it play. I hope he continues to play, and I hope he does stay with us because I think he's promising. And I think people were sort of slating him off and saying that he's not as good as Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was at his age. But I think he's got all the signs to develop. And yeah, Oxlade-Chamberlain may have been good, had a little bit more talent before him, but I think he peaked early as well. And I think Nelson's got a little bit more that he can develop in his game. So we need to give these kids a chance and let them play. And yeah, he had some poor moments in the game, but I think overall for a debut, it was good. And yeah, happy to see us give a shot to some of these youngsters on some of these matches. But we do also need to make sure that we focus on at least staying in sixth place so that we can stay in Europe, so that we can keep some of our other players as well. Because we're the Arsenal and nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, I think if you're looking at Reece Nelson today, you look at the teams around him. Okay, when we miss just a couple of 2 or 3 players, the drop off is quite big in performance. You can't just replace a Mesut Ozil or an Aaron Ramsey that easily, and that's a bit of an issue to us. So, without having those attacking players to be able to interlink with, it's going to be tough. But it's also a lesson to him that now, the Premier League is not easy. He'll have struggled at times and he'll do well at other times, and he's got to come in and win a place. And that's the important thing. And it was very positive for the kid. I thought he did well. And, if I was him, I'd be very happy with myself today. John, Hector and Long having a pop at each other down the side. And Shane Long becomes a diving see you next Tuesday as usual. And then the Charlie Austin goal.
Yeah, I like the bit from Hector. If you want to show a bit of passion, as is everyone's favourite buzzword on Twitter at the moment, I think that's how you do it in a sensible way. You don't need to swing arms at people or whatever. You can just give someone a little bit of lip, and if anything, encourage the player on the other team to make a stupid mistake and get themselves into trouble. Not you. I know who could I be referencing? Anyway, for the Charlie Austin goal, yeah. Again, I think I predicted all the goals today for Southampton when I was talking to Ross. I said to him maybe I should be the manager over Mark Hughes, because I said to him, why is Charlie Austin not starting? Because he'll be difficult to deal with because he's a big physical lump. Shane Long should stand on Mustafi because he's a walking disaster waiting to happen. As soon as I said that, he went and scored. But yeah, we went a goal up and we just sit back and start to relax again and go too easy. And then we just don't clear our lines over and over and over again. We're not clearing the ball properly, giving it away in stupid places. And I think, was it Cedric, the right back, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got into the box. It was a really good run, but again, no one trying to show him outside, force him wide, no one getting a block on it. And then he puts it into a good area in the end. And Charlie Austin does what good strikers do, just anticipates where the ball's going to be, and gets a good finish. So it's frustrating because he's just come on the pitch. Have they sorted out who's picking him up? I don't know. We're still kind of zonal. I don't think the ball should come in the first place. And it's just a really frustrating goal to concede. And yeah, Guna is just put in the box. John, Arsenal can't defend. I mean, it's true at the moment. We really are, at times lacking any intelligence in our defending, and it's frustrating because today I thought Callum Chambers had a really good game, but then Mustafi doesn't play particularly well. I thought Kolasinac, in particular, was very poor. Down his side, he let him way too many balls come in from that side.
But on the Cedric run, I thought, I was looking at it because Chambers has him and he should show him down the side and veer him out. But I thought when you watch Cedric's feet, Cedric did him with his feet.
Yeah.
Really good play. And all of a sudden, Chambers is in two minds. He's not sure whether to jump in, whether, if he's going to cut inside. I think you've got to take your hats off to Cedric there. He's created that goal on his own.
Yeah, that's Chambers' one weakness is, he does lack a little bit of pace.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyone with quick feet is going to struggle against a little bit. It was good. But again, you can still try and cut the ball out. There's so many defenders. And the other issue I've got is that everyone runs to the line. Like no one's picking up Austin. There's absolutely no one picking him up at all. Mustafi should be aware. El Neni's come back in as well. You've got Bellerin there. And I don't think he was the only... there was someone else in the box for Southampton as well we could have fallen to who was open as well. So, if it weren't Austin, someone else probably would have tapped that in. But there was a couple of times in the game where, we didn't clear our lines properly and the ball fell nicely for Southampton. They had some, like Ward-Prowse and people like that got on the end of the ball and had a shot. And on another day, if they'd connected with it better, then maybe they would have made something from it. But luckily, they all went wide. And to be fair as well, Czech made some good saves as well today from some decent efforts. So it's just frustrating that they make a sub and we instantly just crumble to it. It's really disappointing.
But our performance had dropped off in midfield 10 minutes before that, and even when we brought Jack on, we were still under the cosh there. I think they'd earned the right to go for that. They built it up.
But again, it's down to us taking our foot off the gas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Southampton are a team who are fighting, scrapping for their lives at the moment down at the bottom. You can't take those games casually. We've come back from goal. We've come back, in the game to take the lead. That's great. That's really good, really, really positive. But you can't then just start to ease off in the game. You've got to keep the tempo up. And if anything, we should have got the third goal. And I think if we'd got the third, and credit to McCarthy in goal for Southampton. If one of those had gone in, I think then it probably kills them off a little bit. But when it's only one goal difference, they're going to have some belief and confidence they can get back in the game.
Yeah, very much so. Jace, have you got anything to add to that, mate?
Nothing at all.
Okay, cool. Right, so let me see Bellerin come off for holding. I don't know what's going on there. And then we see the Welbeck miss. We counter-attack. Jack does very, very well because he's going to get right slagging off later. Jack does really, really well to cross the ball across to Welbeck. And I mean, how on earth does Welbs miss that?
He misses it just like I miss it. He actually tries something that shouldn't be tried. All he literally needs to do is just let the ball hit his body, and it's going to go in. He doesn't need to try to. He doesn't. No flick, no kick, no. Literally, just let it hit your thigh and tumble over the line. That's all. That was what the two goal. I think it was the two opportunities he's had that have both been saved, where it's just bumbled off his chest and thigh recently. Just do the same thing. Just do the same thing, and it goes in there. And unfortunately, he just was thinking, I got to get a foot on it. And he did. He really got a foot on it. And it was a great clearance. The problem was he wasn't playing defense. I loved because I think Lacazette was actually shouting for him to leave it and just let it run across the goal because he was wide open at the back post. And literally just points, looks at Wells on the ground, just points and goes, I was right here. But I mean, you feel bad. I do feel bad for Wells because this is obviously not the first time he's done this. But just tries to get a little too complicated with it when all you got to do, let that hit your thigh and just fall over the line. That's all you need to do. Don't try to get cute. Don't try to get fancy. Don't try to, blast it into the, upper 90 from a foot away. Just put your body on it and let it fall off you, and that'll go in there. So, man, just that took a lot of the wind out of my sails watching. I didn't see us getting another goal after that.
Do you know what? When it went over, I was looking at it, just thinking, that's all you need to do is get your studs on it. Stab it in. Stab it in.
Yeah.
And did you think it wasn't going to be our day at that point? Because I could just see us losing this game at that point.
Yeah, no, I massively. And I was like, they're going to counter us, and Charlie Austin's going to, no, I think, at that time Shane Long had come off. So I thought Charlie Austin was going to score some ridiculous goal where he basically had Mustafi going full Coquelin and Bellerin off his back, and then go one-on-one with Czech and chip him or something. But luckily that didn't happen. But yeah, like I said, it completely deflated me, and I was like, I just don't see a way for us to grab this one.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult at that point. John, then Mr. Welbeck redeems himself.
Yeah,
come on,
he does. And honestly, it was a good finish from Welbeck, but all of the credit for me goes to Iwobi. He gets the ball, he gets down the line, he's being harassed, he keeps it. He's very, very good with his feet, keeping the ball. That's the one thing I think he's always, even when his performances have been bad, he's running with the ball. He's excellent. He's very hard to get off it. He's sending defenders which way, one way or the other. They don't know where they're going. He works himself some space, and he puts the ball in with his weaker foot, and it's a great ball in. It's perfect ball in. It's great for the wide man to just come in and attack that. I think it's sort of Stevens and Cedric. They kind of get mixed up as they don't really know who's going for the ball. And Welbeck, that's what he's got. Great athleticism. He can get a great leap and just towers over the players, and really good finish. Does exactly what you want the striker to do. Gets his head on it, puts it straight down into the corner. Perfect finish. So really pleased for Iwobi, because obviously he was gutted with the miss. And, like Jay said, Lacazette's face when he, I don't know what he was trying to do with that, was amazing. But he gets the goal, and what I really liked was there was the little bit of a joke between him and Wilshere, and it was almost as if you don't want to give me an assist, but you want to give Iwobi one. And I don't know what they said, but you can just sort of imagine it, and they were kind of laughing and joking about it, and you can see the players as well were really happy for him as well. But huge credit for Iwobi for that, and he did throughout the game, as we already said. He really grew into it, and he was pulling off some nice things. But that was a lovely ball in. But
on his weaker foot as well, John. That was for he's still a young player. We can't forget that. He's still, and to have the confidence at that point, that shows how well he was playing today. Jace, was the fact that he had the confidence to whip the ball in on his weaker foot, and like John said, what an absolute wonderful ball it was, and great job by Welbs to rise above everybody.
It would have been very typical of an Arsenal player in a position Iwobi was to just pass back out to the edge of the box. Yeah. To a Xhaka or an El Neni. But he saw Welbeck, and I think Kolasinac was there as well. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll put it in this position. I'll work the space for myself, and I'll put it in there and trust in Welbeck to finish it off. That was great.
To be fair, I've given Iwobi a lot of stick this season, but
who has?
As soon as the equalising goal went in, the way he seemed to play with so much more conviction. I thought that setup for the goal summed it up. He was making runs in the game. He was taking the ball on the run. Instead of wanting it always to feet, mixed his game up a bit. And he did really, really well. And, I don't think it's far off to say he was probably the best player on the pitch for us. I think he's a real shout for man of the match on that performance. He did awfully well today, and it was really good to see, because if he concentrates on his game and continues to produce performances like that, he'll have a bright future. If he goes the other way,
involved in all 3 goals today, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. if he doesn't, there's going to be a problem. And he's too much of a talent. As we've always said, the guy's got the talent. We want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Jay, the last, we're gonna, all three of us are going to talk about this now. We have a counter attack. Jack screws it up. We lose the ball. It comes back. Jack pulls Jack Stevens' shirt, and Jack Stevens reacts really, really badly.
Yeah.
How do you think the referee handled it?
I was a bit surprised Jack didn't go off. I think that was my biggest shock, especially when you see the shirt sort of, we'll call it a shirt pull, the shirt rip from Jack that sort of.
But a shirt pull is a yellow card.
But correct, but
is a yellow card.
But Jack's reaction also after he was hit, I've seen players go off for that. And that it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me that. Or it did surprise me that he wasn't sent off, even though I've seen players sort of stay on. But it just, I was happy he didn't get sent off. That's for sure. But I definitely, the response from Stevens was idiotic, and he definitely deserved it. But again, Jack is just, you can tell he just doesn't have an idea right now. He has the balls that he's playing are don't have the correct pace on him. He's not in the right position for things. He's getting overly frustrated when a guy has as much #passion as he does. He tends to sort of have these moments, and I think knowing Andre Mariner and the way he typically officiates matches, I was surprised that Jack didn't go off.
But Mariner's let Tadic stay on the pitch after 2 studs up challenges. 2.
Well, yeah, but that's because it's against the Arsenal. It's not for the Arsenal. That's why every referee does that to us.
Mariner's performance today was dog shit. Okay, absolutely dog shit. Tadic should have gone. Okay, should have gone. No ifs, no buts. But I thought initially he gets it right. A yellow for Jack, and Jack Stevens red card. You're not allowed to raise your hands to the face. Okay.
Yeah.
There's always pushing, but. John, I want to come to you now. Then the El Nene red card for a push that you've seen about half a dozen of them.
Yeah.
In the argument there. And for him to send El Nene off was an absolute joke.
And the push was after he was already messed with. Like it was the second move. It was in retaliation to somebody else messing with him. And that's the one I didn't understand.
Yeah, I think. I don't think Mariner had a good game for either team, to be honest. I think he got decisions wrong for both sides. I think you're right about Tadic. I think that very first tackle was like in the first minute against Nelson. I think if that's not in the first minute, then he gets a yellow card. I think he just ignores it because it's the first minute, it doesn't book him. It shouldn't make any difference that it's the first minute, but it's just the way referees think. Then you saw the one later on where he was sort of, he was stud showing against Iwobi. He's going for the ball. And it's a 50-50 ball, but you can't show your studs. That's in the rules. That's supposed to be a booking. And I think he's kind of lost control a little bit in the game there, especially at the end. You go from the Jack thing and then to El Nene. El Nene's done. I mean, I watched it back a couple of times. It looks close-ish to the guy's face where he's pushed him. Whether it's like very top of the chest and he's caught his neck, or I don't know. The guy doesn't fall over or anything, but in the rules is if you raise your hands to someone's head, it's a red card. That's the rule, and it's straight red. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how how hard it is, whether you punched them or whether you've flicked them, whatever. That's the whole thing. So I think that's why the red is. Maybe he said something as well. We can't hear what they're saying on the pitch. I'm assuming that when they review it, Arsenal, they might appeal it. Maybe.
I'd appeal that one. He didn't touch his. He didn't touch his head. There's no one near his head.
It really depends, what's in the referee's report. Because if in the referee's report he said something abusive to the referee directly, or or he's remonstrated too much and the referee's told him to shut up, and then he's pushed the player and then shouted at the ref, whatever. Then it's a harder thing to appeal. You're just not going to win it. The club knows when they can win things or not. The problem is we don't know what he said on the pitch. If it's just for the push, it seems a little bit right. A little bit, like strong. Like it would make sense for a yellow. But I think because of the way Jack reacted, like the sort of the aggressiveness of him, the way he pulled the shirt, it wasn't just pulling the shirt, he was trying to pull him to the floor. Jack Stevens' red card was bang on. That was stupid. I mean, if people are being sensible, you could have just both given him a yellow card and said, just be adults,
Yeah.
But it's in the rules, if you touch someone's head, that's it. Yeah. So that's fine. But the way Jack then gets up afterwards, starts mouthing off at Stevens, he's gone in to go for him. And I think what Marin has done is...
trying to get him sent off at this point. Jack is trying to get him sent off at this point. Let's make no bones about it, okay? And I'm going to say this here and now. Jack throwing himself to the ground is getting embarrassing. He throws himself to the ground half a dozen times in every fucking game, and he's become a fucking embarrassment doing it, okay? He's trying to buy free kicks over the park. Sometimes it's smart play. But, he did it a few times, and he's annoyed himself here. He's given the ball away cheaply, and he's gone to get the lad sent off, okay? And the lad, he deserves the red card. He's lifted his hands to the face. But it's led then to a whole host of people getting involved in this.
I think what Marin has tried to do here, he's seen Wilshere's reaction. He's probably getting, the fourth official and the linesman's probably telling him that, this player's pushed this player and this player's, number, whatever's pushed this one. And I think the last person he's just saw push someone who happened to be an Arsenal player, he's tried to even things up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if there was an Arsenal player who deserved the red, and I'm not saying, by the letter of the law, Jack Wilshere should not get a red card, but even after he's been pushed to the floor, the way Jack then gets up, goes for him, and he's still trying to get to him. Czech's pulling him away, then Lacazette is, then I think, Kolasinac comes in as well. He wants to be Arsenal captain. I really like Jack Wilshere. I love that, I love the passion and everything. But no, what I mean by that is I love how much he loves the club. He's a genuine Arsenal.
Yeah.
Can't deny that.
Absolutely love that. And I love that he wants to be a captain and everything. And I think that's a great ambition to have if you're an Arsenal player. That should be like, top of your list if you're a big Arsenal fan. The problem is he doesn't act enough that way on the pitch. You can't be a captain and act like that. You've got to be more sensible. You've got to be more cute about it. Like we said earlier, like Bellerin, Shane Long, when he barged him off the pitch, he weren't playing for the ball. He's just trying to shove Bellerin like anywhere, just on the floor, whatever. Bellerin doesn't get knocked down, luckily, but he just turns around and he's just like, all right, well, come on then. He doesn't go near him. He just mouths off and kind of embarrasses Shane Long, gets the crowd jeering him and everything else. That's the way you've got to do it. And the way
intelligence there.
Yeah, the way Jack reacted, right? If you get shoved to the floor like you're going to be annoyed. But I'm not saying stay on the floor and roll around like you've been punched in the face or anything. But just get up and just be like, what are you doing? You don't need to react at all in any way whatsoever. And it annoyed me because it marred what was, I thought, we weren't amazing today in defence particular. But I thought we were good in the way we responded every time we conceded a goal. I thought we responded very well. I thought that Jack looks like a shaved head 11 from Stranger Things. David Cronin, that's a great comment.
David Cronin, take a bow, sir.
Like Marcus TV saying, we are too pussy. Like I agree. I like aggressive players, but there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it, and I agree. I love Vieira and I loved Adams and I love the way they roughed up players, but that's a different era. You can't play like that anymore. You've got to be smarter about it. You've got to be a bit snide about it. Shane Long is a player who we hate, but he's clever in the way he does it and the way he winds people up and is aggressive in his. It was just disappointing from Jack, and I just think that El Neni ended up being sort of collateral damage from the whole thing.
Jack has not matured. Jack's not matured at all, like emotionally, to warrant that. It's the same thing he was doing in 2009, 2010, 2011. He hasn't actually changed that part of his game to become more intelligent, which is also the most disappointing thing, and why he'll also never be captain.
Do you know what? That's the game. We're going to stick with the Jack Wilshere because we've had a question about him here. Can I find it? David Keith asks, do we have to rest Jack as he's beginning to look tired on his recent performances? Now, we've discussed what's happened there. Okay, and I'm not talking the last 2 or 3. I'm talking the last maybe dozen of performances. I think Jack's been poor. Okay, I think he's off the pace. I think his decision making is shite. Okay, I think his first touch of the ball today, he runs down a blind alley and loses the ball. He doesn't give the one-time touch, and you're looking at a guy who is Mr. Arsenal. Okay, I love him for the way he loves the club. I love his talent, but he's not using his talent effectively at the moment. Thursday night was embarrassing watching him on that pitch. Obviously, I think with injuries, everything's taken its toll, and he probably is tired and does need a rest. But this is a guy who wants a new contract, wants a pay rise. Bearing in mind, the club have stuck by him through every single injury. They've stuck by him. He's probably Arsenal's highest paid player on performances. Do you think he's going to be with us next season? John, I'm coming to you first.
The only way he's staying with us next season is if he offers the contract offer that's on the table. If he takes it, he's not getting an improved contract offer. He's not going to get it. I do think that he needs to be rested. I agree with that. Whether it's 1 game or 2 games, I don't know. I think when he came back this season, I think he impressed a lot of people, and I was surprised how he's kept his fitness up and he hasn't got injuries or anything else. That's great. That's really good. And he has had some good performances, but they have been going downhill recently. And I think, he's clearly a player. Whether it's just this season, it's going to take him a bit longer to get up to that. I can do it for a full season. I don't know. That's you have to ask someone like Dom. He's the kind of guy who'd know like those kind of things. With all the injuries and fitness issues he's had. But he clearly needs to be taken out of the lineup at the moment. I think part of the frustration you saw from him today probably comes from his own performances because he knows he can play better, and he's probably annoyed with himself for the way he's playing. Doesn't mean that he should react the way he did, but it's obviously going to impact that. But for right now, I do not see the club changing the offer they've put on the table for him. And I get it from both sides. We spoke about this, I don't know how many times this season now, but from the club's point of view, it makes sense. I can see why he's upset because they're basically giving him a pay cut when he's, technically about to hit the prime years. And he knows he can probably get what he's on now or maybe more at another club in the Premier League. Won't be a top tier club. He might have to go to a West Ham or an Everton or someone like that, but he could probably earn what he's on, maybe more, just because there is so much money in the Premier League now. And as a player, as much as he loves Arsenal, him for himself and his family, you do have to consider what you've got at the end of your career. And this also, not forget, this is a player who realistically doesn't know how long his career is going to be because of the injuries he's had. He might not make it to 30 as a footballer, No,
that's my comment.
So I think for right now, if he doesn't take the offer that's on the table from Arsenal, he's not going to be here next season. I'll be disappointed to see him go. I would like to see him stay because I think he's a good squad player to have. I like having someone who's attached to the club and is personal to the fans. But if his wage demands are through the roof, that's the thing. I don't know what his wage demands are. If they're through the roof, then I don't see keeping him. And the other thing I will say, because I know some people mention this at all, keeping Jack Wilshere and keeping Aaron Ramsey as separate issues, they're nothing to do with each other. You can only keep one and you can't keep the other thing is nonsense. They're completely unrelated. They're very different players. That's for the clubs to decide. And there is no one's better than the other. They're totally different players. So you shouldn't even compare them. It's pointless. It's a really bizarre comparison that I don't understand why people do. It's honestly pointless because they're very, very different players. What I'd like to see for Jack now to the end of the season is rest him. Maybe he doesn't play in Moscow on Thursday. I don't think we need to. You could probably go Jacarel, Nenny and Ozil or something for a meal free, whatever you want to do. And I think you would maybe he comes back in for the next Premier League game. We'll see if he's done well in training. But also I'd like to see him drop a bit deeper. I don't want to see him play quite as hard at the pitch. I think he'll benefit from being a bit deeper in the midfield. But yeah, at the moment he's not playing well enough to get an improved contract offer, basically.
Yeah. Jace, you're taking this.
I I absolutely love Jack Wilshere. But there's no way that we should pay him 6 figures a week. Hands down. No way. 100K a week at the most. Like John said, make him a squad player. I was a bit disappointed that he started against didn't he start against Moscow? Am I correct in saying that?
Started, yeah.
I was actually a bit disappointed that El Neni didn't start. We just gave El Neni a new contract. Why are we starting some guy who's not proven himself in the last 4 to 5 years for us due to injuries? Why are we allowing him to sort of hold our feet over the fire contractually when he hasn't performed? We have a guy who we just gave a contract who's been pretty consistent. And to be honest, I was a little disappointed with El Neni's play today overall. I know people say that they don't like him besides Xhaka, but I actually think that provides us a decent amount of cover, especially if you play Ramsey in there in the midfield 3 with Ozil further ahead. I think that provides us a really good balance, both in attack and defense, and shielding our back 4 there. Just with the differences of El Neni and Xhaka. And Jack is the player that I've gotten on a bunch of my kits that I have here. I'll be honest, I'm a kit guy and I put players' names on the back of it. So sue me. The rest of you lot can go screw yourself. So Wilshere's on a lot of them, but he does not deserve an improved contract. He's not proven that he needs it. And in fact, recently when he's been in games, he's actually impeded our play because he carries the ball too long. Jace has been saying this for a long time now, and it's taken me a long time to sort of admit that he was right. But he slows down our attack. He carries the ball too much. He can't play a first-time ball. There were times against Moscow when I was screaming for him to hit open players wide, and he just cannot do it. And don't get me wrong, he's a very talented player. But I think he's become a bit stale at this club, like a few other things have. And for us to continue to move on and move forward and move up as a club, he's probably one of those players who needs to go find some greener pastures for himself somewhere else.
See, it's the thing. When I look at him, I really want him to stay. I really want him to stay. I think if he wants more money, he's having a laugh. His contribution to the team this season. He's come in when we've needed him this season, and he did well initially, but he didn't pull up trees. Some of the reaction to some of his performances, when he got voted Player of December, I nearly had a fit. I just couldn't stop laughing. When you saw, you saw this Crystal Palace games and saw people, oh yeah, Jack controlled that, blah, blah, blah. Sanchez scored 2 great goals that game and did more work than anybody. But obviously, people have grown tired of Sanchez and that's it. Jack hasn't dominated a game in years. Maybe actually the Chelsea game in the Cup this season. I thought he did really well in that. And he grabbed himself a goal. But his output is minimal. Too many touches, not sharp enough. I can see him being really effective, being a deep line playmaker. I really can. I think he's got all the talent in the world. Ball at feet. He is something. He can be special. But he's got to release the ball quicker. And if I'm looking at the moment, somebody needs to talk to him and say, right, let's calm down. Let's calm down. It's your first 30 games season for the Arsenal in a long, long time. What do you want? You want an improved contract. His body shape has changed over the years. He can't play like he did when he was 17, 18. He's had to toughen up. Okay, he's bulked up. You can see he's bulked up a lot. His running motion is not what it was when he was 17, 18. He needs to change his game slightly. Wearing number 10 in his back is a joke. Take it off him, give it a Ozil, settle it. Yeah. Give him a 4 or a 5, leave him play deeper. And give him the instruction, right? You need to chill your beans, and you need to be looking for the long ball, and you need to learn when to drive and go forward. His first touch when he came on the park today was a joke. Absolute joke, taking it down a blind alley. There is nothing attacking midfielder about Jack Wilshere. His stats do not lie. His assists, his goals return over the years is a joke. Okay, but what he is a wonderfully, wonderfully talented footballer who just needs to calm down. Sign the contract that's put on offer for yourself. Sign it, and if you do well next season, you can renegotiate. from a stronger position. Do that and just concentrate on your football, because you love the Arsenal and the fans love him. The fans truly love him. He's not going to get that anywhere else. They scream his name when he's putting in, frankly, pitiful performances. He's loved at this club.
I think you've also, it's not all on Jack. This part of this is the club's fault. They've let this situation happen again with a player. We've got something similar coming up. We've got something similar with Ramsey as well. Only a year left on his contract.
John, this happens at every club.
Yeah, but
this happens at every.
Not to the extent it happens at Arsenal, Chase. Come on, it happens way too often.
I remember it happening with Henry and Vieira. Yeah, but I remember this happening with Henry and Vieira every year. Okay, we're not Man City. We're going to spunk money. We're not United or City. We're going to spunk money on players. We have to get what we think is value.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you can't. You shouldn't be letting, say, like Aaron Ramsey only have a year left on his contract in a position where he's in a massively strong position to negotiate, or he can leave to go to a big club. Jack Wilshere, if we want to let him go, that's fine. But we're letting 20, 30 million walk out the door. We could have given him an extension, on what he's currently on, and then sold him and made some money. Because regardless of what we think of him and his performances, he's still an English midfielder who's only 26. Is he 26? Yeah. You can sell him to a club in the Premier League and get 30 million for him easy. So if he does walk, it's the club's fault as well. They've let money walk out the door as well. I think with Jack Wilshere, they're looking at, okay, and I'm not trying to defend the club here, and because I do think that this needs both sides coming together and just saying, look, mate, this is what we're getting from you. We need you to be this. And give him a defined structure to play within. Yeah. And I don't think we've got that as a club at the moment. But, Jack Wilshere over the years, it's been injury after injury after injury. The club have paid him an awful lot of money for lying on the side, on the physio bench. Okay? They've done that. They've kept faith with him. Right? Maybe it's time for Jack to say, well, okay, do you know what? If I sign this contract, are you prepared to renegotiate next year if I show what I'm worth? Right? And I think that would be fair, because a lot of this is, you look at, Kieran Gibbs with his wage demands, etc. We had him for a really low fee, and I think that comes into it as well. So it's a bit of a minefield. Right, enough on Jack Wilshere. I hope he stays. I really hope he does, but I hope he starts performing better as well, because it's not been good recently. Who am I going to come to with this? Jason, I'll come to you first. Unique79 asks, Welbeck scoring goals along with Aubameyang and Lacazette will be pivotal for the remainder of the season. What are your thoughts on how well they've done recently?
Yeah, we definitely gotta keep the pedal to the metal, as they would say on Top Gear. This, like I said earlier, is what we've been crying out for. Is the two strikers we want, Lacazette, Aubameyang, starting to really perform, and we're starting to get the payouts from those transfers. I know a lot of people were slagging off Lacazette, and I know some people don't always rate him. I think it's unfair to sort of judge a player in his full first season, especially when he comes from a league like France. I'm not going to call it a feeder league, but I watched a little bit of that. I watched a little bit of that Monaco game yesterday, and Christ on a bike, is it a slow league? And just not very physical. And so Lacazette's going to take some extra time to bed in. Obviously, players coming from Germany, I think, tend to bed in a little bit quicker because the physicality is there in Germany, like it is in the Premier League. Maybe not to the extent of the Premier League, but it's much closer, so there's less of a transition period. No, it's all positive. What we need to make sure that we do is – I really like our creativity. I really like our scoring. We got to shore up our defense. That's what's going to be positive for the remainder of the season. It's great that we're scoring the goals and that Aubameyang and Lacazette are knocking them in. But we've got to keep goals from going into our net. That's the most important thing for the rest of the season.
Okay, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. John, Marble Halls TV and Khalito El Guna talking about how many empty seats. Yeah. And Marble Halls TV asks, are we mostly fair weather fans? Newcastle have won nothing for decades, but still sell out. Is there an expectancy with Arsenal? Is it down to, we've played some pretty putrid stuff this season. Some stuff we've played this season has been awful. What do you put it down to, pal?
I get the Newcastle comment. I think the difference is expectation levels. If you ask the Newcastle fan what their expectation was for the season, most of them would say hope to stay in the league. Honestly, that's going to be their expectation. I've got a mate, weirdly, he's got a very bizarre accent. He's a Geordie, but he moved down here when he was quite young, so he's got like a weird Essex Chav cross Geordie accent. It's bizarre. Love you, Maddie. But yeah, he's very honest, and all Geordie fans are. So I think that's why they turn up every week. It's also they've got the advantage that it's the only club in that city. They're a one city club, which is a very rare thing. I think a lot of the Arsenal fans are turned off at the moment because the performances haven't been great. The league is basically dead. We've got maybe playing for catching Chelsea, which we could do. It's a possibility. Maybe we get fifth. It's not really a lot to shout about, though, is it? Coming fifth place. The Europa League is where it's at. There's still empty seats for the Europa League games, though I'm noticing, and I think it's just kind of the expectation of the club and what we should be doing is not being matched on the pitch. Are the fans' expectations a little bit too high? No, I don't think so. I'm not sure that we should be winning the Premier League with the sort of money we spend, but we should be at least competing for the top four and, second, third place. I think that's a fair ask to have from the club. What's disappointing is that more isn't done for the fans that don't go, because it was, sell out? I don't know, like 56,000 attendance or whatever it was said today, which obviously it wasn't. It was more like 30 probably, if you looked at all the empty seats. What's annoying is that they don't make it easier for fans to sell their seats, sell their tickets to other fans who do want to go. And also, I don't think there's enough of a punishment for people who have tickets who don't go. I'm not saying that you lose your season ticket or anything like that. I wouldn't ever, do that on someone, because there's obviously extenuating circumstances. But I think there should be some sort of match credit system, or something where if you don't attend but you sell your ticket, you get match credits towards away games or cup games, or something like that. Some incentive is a very easy thing to do. And I know there's some fan groups that have given different ideas to the club, so hopefully they take that. But I don't think you're going to see any difference this season in attendance numbers. Next year, maybe it goes back up again, but it will probably drop off again if the performances are the same. And I also expect that there won't be as many renewals as well if Arsene Wenger is staying. That's another thing, because I think that also contributes to it. There are some fans. I mean, I haven't been to a game for a couple of years now. I've just got no interest in going. Honestly, if I was going to a game, the only reason I'd be going is to see friends, like meet up with you guys or something. It's not actually to go and watch the game. Just because I don't want to give Stan Kroenke or any of those scumbags money, to be perfectly honest.
Fair enough. Jace Turnip Surprise asks, is this the most Welbeck performance ever? Deflected goal. Best ever, and then scores the winner.
So not only is it the most Welbeck performance ever, it's the most Arsenal Like, Welbeck is Arsenal, Arsenal is Welbeck. It's all of the shit, all of the greatness, all in one. Just because Arsenal knows that I'm working out, my blood pressure is down, I'm feeling good, and they got to do something to get that heart rate back up again, and that blood pumping in me. But yes, 100%, it's the most Welbeck / Arsenal performance of 2018 for sure.
I honestly, do you know what? I love Danny Welbeck. I actually love him for all of his positives and negatives. He just keeps on going, and he's that guy Welbs, isn't he? He's just superb. Would I sell him? I probably would, but an upgrade. But there you go. That's just the way it is. Okay, Stephen Barr asks, can or will we keep Rambo this summer? I think I'm going to answer this one. Yeah, of course we can. And we should. We'd be lunatics
give him all the fucking money now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. On his output, on his production, on the way he affects the team, on the way we play when he's in the team. Give him the fucking money. Give him whatever he wants. Well, not give him whatever he wants, but yeah, I don't think he wants sort of Ozil wages, but give him the money and just get it done. Okay, because I hear people saying, "Oh yeah, we could sell him and get somebody in." You ain't gonna. If we sell him, it's gonna cost us an extra 40 million quid to get somebody to put in the production that he gives us. And this kid he's had his leg broken for the Arsenal. He's been booed by the fans. He still keeps on producing. He's been our top tackler one season. He's been pushed out to the right-hand side. His defensive side of his game is superb. The attacking side of his game is superb. He gets a bit of stick because people see it as a Jack or Rambo situation, which it's not. They can play together, but you have to play you have to play Jack deeper. But that's not a problem because actually Jack is more effective when he plays deeper. But to leave him go, I think would be utter lunacy. I really do. He's outscored Vidal this season. He's outscored Pogba this season. You know what I mean? The assists he gets you. I remember when everybody was saying, was it, oh yeah, but it's flicks and tricks. He does too many flicks and tricks. Well, if other players are awake enough and get on the end of the flicks and tricks, we perform. This guy is just... Guna Gunas, is this a Welsh thing? No, it's fucking not. He plays for the Arsenal. He's got 50 plus goals for the Arsenal. He's got 50 plus assists for the Arsenal. Is that not good enough for you? Is that not good enough for you? Genuinely, what do you want from a footballer? What do you want from a footballer? The guy puts in performances week after week. He's always brave on the ball, always looking for the ball, and he covers 12k plus every single game. Yes, there have been injury issues. That's down to the way we've managed him. But seriously, if you want to replace him, you're paying that money anyway. Let's stop being stupid. He's the best midfielder we've had at this club since Cesc. Guna, just gunning, mate. Nice. I respect that. He's the best midfielder we've had since Cesc. And if I remember certain sort of bloggers, not one of our midfielders are as good as Edu or Ray Parler. Do just fuck off, you pretentious twats. Just do fuck off. Aaron Ramsey.
He just wanted to set you off, Jace. That's all. We just wanted to.
I know. But this is the thing, okay? If Aaron Ramsey played in that fucking Invincibles team, he'd have had 30 goals a season. Easily. He'd have loved to have played alongside Vieira. He'd have been great alongside Gilberto. Let's stop this fucking nonsense, okay? Sign him up, tie him down, and let's keep him. Because I am sick and tired of the bullshit that's been said about the kid. The kid has been nothing but Mr. Arsenal since he got here. Somebody posted a picture after the it was a shit tweet. It was, okay. It was, if you can't support me in the good times, don't support me. If you can't support me in the good times, don't. Bad times. Okay. And it showed a picture of Rambo with his leg broken into places at a Stoke game. Why are you putting that there, mate? Why? You're a fucking moron. But that just shows you what this kid has been through. This guy performs for you week in, week out. Just give him the contract, sign him up.
Ozil's at his best when Ramsey. Ozil's at his best when Ramsey's in the team and playing well. Also,
exactly. Steve Whitler's just put in there. Lord Ilwood's just put in there the black flag. He's been triggered. Right, Jace, I understand you got a question, so fire away, pal.
Yeah, I wanted a lot of talk today about Mustafi and defenders and who we should buy and everything. So I'm of the mind I really want to see a future, maybe not next season, but maybe the season after and after that, but a defensive pairing of Chambers and Holding. Would you guys be fearful of bringing somebody in this summer to possibly maybe replace Mustafi, or would you keep sort of the Mustafi maybe an extra year, and then continue to play Holding and Chambers beside him to try to develop sort of those two guys to maybe possibly hand the reins over down the road to a Holding and Chambers partnership in maybe say 2019, 2020 or 2020, 2021?
I personally want another centre back to come in. Purr's obviously not played at all this season and he's done. Koscielny, it's going to get harder and harder for him to play every week. We're hoping to be back in the Champions League. If not, we'll be in the Europa League again next season. So we're still going to have a lot of games. I think you do need to rotate between Chambers and Holding, who's playing. There's enough games that they can get games here. They don't have to go on loan. I know some people have suggested that. I like both of them. I think they've got a future. They've played together a lot at youth level as well. But I want a more either, same age as Mustafi is fine, but a better centre back, a more consistent one. And there's lots of centre halves out there. See some note like Koulibaly, Manolas, some other players. Names have been put in the chat there. There's a lot of people you can go and get. I would give Mustafi another year just because we don't know what's going to happen with Kos and how many performances he can do. If we had, if Kos was fine and didn't have his Achilles problem, then I would probably then let Mustafi go and get someone else in. But just because we don't know how Kos is going to be able to perform, I do want another one in. And then maybe Mustafi goes the year after that. If he can't up his performances, improve them. But that again comes down to coaching and the midfield in front of him. Is it consistent? Are they performing well enough? It's a lot of things. But yeah, centre back is definitely an area of the pitch we need to address.
A slightly different take. I think it's Kos need to be looking to move out the door. I got to be honest here. I don't understand why we're not. His performance. If you look at Koscielny's performances this season, they've been dire. Okay. Koscielny's been our worst centre-half by a magic mile this season. Age and injury have taken their toll. He's been superb for the club over the years. There's always been a ricket in him, but I think there's a ricket in most centre-halves. You look at Otamendi last night and against Liverpool, he was terrible. And they're how many points clear at the top? City. I think, you look at Mustafi's age and you look at some of the performances he's put in and big games as well. He's been superb, but we need to coach them better. I do think you need to bring in that centre back for the transition to develop Holding and Chambers. I do think they've got a really good future at the club. I think Chambers is getting better and better. I think Holding will as well. But I think, I look at Laurent Koscielny and I just think, he's always relied on his pace. And because of this injury, that's going to affect him. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you can't trust your pace, your decision-making goes a bit. And God knows I love him, but if you're going to move one of them out, why do you move out the 25-year-old and not the 32-year-old who's got injury problems? I just think it's an absolute no-brainer. If you want to bring in somebody, you upgrade Koscielny, not Mustafi, because I think Mustafi would be better if you've got a better centre-back alongside him. I think that goes for all of them. I don't see how Koscielny regains what he once had. He's been a great servant to the club, love him to bits, but I think there you go. Right. What are your thoughts, Jace?
I say keep everybody, but start to transition. I actually don't think we need to buy anybody. I think what we need to do is we need to coach our defense, like Gunnar put in there. That as long as Arsene Wenger's there, it's not going to matter who we bring in. We could bring in the Italian back there. I know I've said this. Lord Hill Wood said this on the pod. It doesn't matter who's at the back. If they're not being coached, they're not going to play well. So I think that the talent that we have is good enough. We just got to make sure that they're coached. And I definitely think, I don't think we need to spend money on a defender. We also have, remember, we have the Greek boy who we just Mavropanos, who we just brought in as well, who impressed Wenger enough to not send him out on loan, even though we haven't really seen him that much. But yeah, I think Holding and Chambers are the future. We just got to make sure that we coach them up. And no matter who we bring in, we need to coach them up.
Okay. Right. Oh, geez, we've been going for ages. That's it. Thank you to everybody in the chat box. You've been superb. It's been really interesting. Guna had me like a fish on the hook. I can't believe it. Jace, thank you ever so much. Good to have you back, pal.
Yeah, good to be back. Glad that we could me and John could break the curse of having to do a pod after a loss. So today's it was looking like that for a little bit, but Deck-Eye Welbs definitely saved our asses today. So everybody, cheers to everybody. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Broken.
Keep it classy.
John, thanks, mate. Well done.
Cheers, Jace, and nice to be back on with Shreds as well. Always good to have our American friend on here.
Absolutely. Trevor in the chat box, thank you ever so much. Superb as always. There's the thumbs up button. Go on, give it a press. Poke it. 5-star Euro NCAP rating or iTunes review would be nice as well. It's nice to see us beat Southampton. Onwards now to Thursday night. Let's get through the semis and let's win this Europa Cup. Hey, take care. All the best. Cheers.